Okay, so this is immediately, literally 10 seconds after I've said thanks for watching and bye. This is literally like 10 seconds after I said that for my super review. So now I'm going to be reviewing Kill List. Basically I rented like 5 movies from Blockbusters the other night. There was Kill List, can't remember, Drive, that was great. I'm going to do a review on that actually. So there was Kill List, Drive, In Time. There were 2 other movies I can't remember. One was the last Twilight movie. I can't remember what the other one was. It'll come back to me. But okay, so here's Kill List. So I went into I've been wanting to see this for a while because it was on a few top 10 movies lists of 2011. It was number 1 on bloodydisgusting.com's list. So I was kind of like, okay, I've got to see this movie. I went into this movie not knowing anything about it. I had no idea what this movie was about. What I knew was that it was a horror film. So I went into this movie not knowing anything about it. So it's always fun when you go into a movie like this, a movie, and you're trying to figure out what the plot is as it goes along. Like, you know nothing about the movie. Like, the only thing I knew about this movie was that it was supposed to be good. And yeah, okay, so basically the story of this movie is there's these 2 guys. They are hitmen. These 2 guys, they're hired. They're given a list of people to kill, hence the title, Kill List. And yeah, so they gotta go around, they gotta kill a bunch of people. And yeah, so they're hitmen, they're just gonna kill a bunch of people. There you go. This isn't, like, when I realised that this is what the movie was gonna be, like a hitman movie, like when I think of hitman movie, I'm thinking like an action movie, like explosions, car chases to kill the person they've gotta kill. Excuse me. That's what I'm thinking of. But this is kind of like, it takes on the hitman aspect in a really dark way. It's like, it's not like car chases and explosions, them trying to hunt down the person they gotta kill in a like action-y kind of way. It's in a dark way. Like they break into someone's house, they torture them to kill them. That's the way they do things in this movie. So, yeah, so I was kind of like I was kind of thinking, okay, this is kind of like an action movie then, if it's going to be a hitman movie, but no, it turned out it's in a dark way. Especially, that's the story of the movie. They're killing a list of people. And of course I was wondering, okay, so why was this on Bloody Disgusting's top 10 horror movies of 2011 list? Of course, in case you didn't notice, hitman, 2 hitmen going around killing people isn't exactly a horror film. So of course, throughout the whole entire movie I was very confused why this was a horror movie, and it became clear at the end, and I'll get into that later. The ending was weird, I'll say that right now. Okay, so that's the story. It's a hitman movie. They're going through a list of people they gotta kill. They've been hired to kill. So my first issue with this movie, it came at the very start. I'm not sure if it's just me and I suck at like just understanding what they were saying. Yeah, that's my issue. I couldn't really understand what they were saying. So in the first scene, it like takes place at a party in some guy's house. This guy and his wife, they invite 2 people over, and they're all drinking and stuff, and they're just talking. And basically, I was just sitting there watching the movie. I was just staring at the TV, and eventually it hit me. Well, I realised that I don't have a clue what the hell these people are saying. So I was kind of like, okay, maybe I'm tired, maybe I'm just zoning out. I was thinking maybe I'm just zoning out and daydreaming or something. Okay, so I was like, okay, Jamie, concentrate, actually pay attention to what they're saying. So I tried, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna pay attention now. So I stared at it like that. I was like, okay, pay attention. Then like 5 minutes had passed, and then I stopped and realised that I didn't hear a single word that they just said. Like, not 5 minutes, like 2 minutes had passed. So like 2 minutes had passed, and then again I realised I didn't hear a single word they said. Like, I didn't take in a single word they said. Like, the thing is with movies, when you hear people say, you just take in what they say anyway. Like, you, like, subconsciously, consciously, whatever, you do it automatically, you understand what they're saying, and you, like, process information, you take it in, and you're like, okay, I understand that. Okay, then you use that knowledge to understand the story. But with this movie, I wasn't really doing that. Eventually, I understood, and then I realised I didn't understand what the hell these people were saying. Like, I literally couldn't understand them. I'm not the only person who has had this problem with this. I guess only a few people have had this problem. Like, I've heard that 1 or 2 people complain about this. I'm one of them. I'm not sure if it's because of the London accents. Like, I live in the UK, I live in Wales. I put it this way, I suck at me and accents. Like, I suck at picking up accents. Trust me, I'm horrible at that sort of stuff. But these guys, I guess they have London accents. I'm not sure if it's because of that, or like I'm not sure because I don't think it's the London accents. Somebody suggested it was the sound mix, like the music, the background noise, like them speaking. Like the audio level of them speaking wasn't really mixed well with the rest of the scene, like the music. Like they didn't really get the dialogue very loud. Like when they when they were editing this movie, they didn't make like the dialogue loud enough. I think that's the problem. So I didn't really hear what they were saying. I couldn't really understand what they were saying because of that. And like I really only had this problem with the first part of the movie, like the first like 10 or 20 minutes. Everything after that I could understand what they were saying. I guess they did a really bad job at like editing the first part of the movie. I don't know, maybe it's just me and a few other people, but in the first 10 or 20 minutes I couldn't really understand what they were saying. So I missed out on a lot of stuff. I did hear a few things which made me suspicious of a few characters, and my suspicions proved to be correct later on. I'll get into that later. Okay, so yeah, that's my first issue with the movie. I couldn't really understand what they were saying at the start, but aside from that, I was okay with the rest of the dialogue for the rest of the movie. But the first part, I couldn't really understand what they were saying. So that's my one gripe with the movie at the very start. Okay, so the idea of two guys being, you know, they're hitmen, they are hired to kill a bunch of people. And the fact they're not doing it in an action-y kind of way, they're doing it in more of a darker way. So this is kind of like a thriller or a drama, you could say that. So he's going around, like, these two guys, they're killing, like, these people on their list. So there you go, and it does it in like a dark way, where they break into people's houses, they kind of torture them before they kill them. Like the one character, like this is kind of like the thread throughout the movie, like the story of the movie. The character is kind of going more and more insane, like him killing these people. He's kind of changing as a person, and he's kind of like being more and more brutal with the killings. Like he starts off like killing people instantly, like he just shoots them in the head. Then eventually it gets to the point where he's just torturing them, like, you know, he's like, you know, bashing them up with hammers and stuff, like, you know, shoving nails through their hands and stuff. So the idea of this being the story of the movie, it seems like this movie is right up my alley. This is the sort of thing I would love to watch. But I don't know, I just didn't find it too entertaining. I wouldn't say I was bored by it. Like I was in the middle, like I wasn't entertained, I wasn't bored by it, I was just there, like I was paying attention, but I wasn't really, I didn't find it too entertaining, neither did I like find it boring. It was just there, like I don't really understand why I didn't like it, like just what was happening. It's the sort of thing which I would find entertaining, but I didn't find it entertaining. Like I should, like it's the sort of thing, if you told me the story of the movie, I would be like, oh cool, sounds like my sort of movie, can't wait to watch it. But I just didn't find it too entertaining, and I wish I did. I get it might just be the way they did it, I don't know, like the way they shot it, the way they edited it. Maybe I didn't care about the characters, I don't know what to think. I just didn't find it entertaining, nor boring either. But you know, if the idea of two hitmen going around killing a bunch of people on their list of people to kill sounds entertaining to you, give it a shot, you might like it. I wanted to like it, it sounded like the sort of thing I would like, but I just didn't find it too entertaining, and I don't know why. I guess it's just the way they pulled it off. I'm really disappointed, like I did want to like it. And we got 2 minutes left on the battery, oh great. I'll be right back. Okay, so I have 2 minutes left on the battery, so I just plugged in the charger and now I'm all good to go. Okay, so I just finished talking about how I didn't really find it as entertaining as I should have, because the story is my sort of thing, it's my sort of movie, but I just didn't find it too entertaining. Like even when I was watching the kill scenes, I just didn't really find them entertaining either. Like some guy's getting his like feet and his hands like nailed. I think they were getting nailed in with a hammer and nail. I don't know. I was just kind of bored by it. I just didn't find it too entertaining for some reason. I don't know why. I just didn't. That's just the way it's done. But you know, if you like gore, again, like I said with Super, if you're the sort of guy who likes gore, and you know you love watching the red stuff flow. This movie should entertain you in that regard. Like it has quite a bit of gore and the special effects are decent. Yeah. Okay, so next point. Okay, so now I'm going to get into the ending here. I'm not going to give spoilers yet. I'll try my best not to give spoilers at all. I'm hoping I can talk about this movie. I'm hoping I can talk about this, go through all of this without giving spoilers. So, basically, okay. So I pretty much talked about what I wanted to about the main part of the movie. So here's the, well, I'm going to talk about the ending now. I'm going around in circles here, won't I? Just repeat myself, right? Okay, so don't worry, no spoilers yet. So, throughout the whole entire movie, I was just waiting. Where the hell? Why was this on Bloody Disgusting's top 10 horror movies of 2011 list? Where's this horror element? You know, I was really confused. I was like, why is this a horror film? I was just sitting there waiting for something horror-ish to happen. Now, I guess you could say the idea of two hitmen killing people is horrifying. I mean, if you just think about Scream, it's a human being hunting down other human beings, killing people. Like, you know, that's what a lot of slasher films are. In this movie, it's two human beings being paid to kill a bunch of other human beings. So I guess you could, you know, if you broke it down, like, I guess it's the way things are delivered. That's what makes them a horror movie. It's the way, like, you deliver the killings. But this is kind of the way they deliver the killings in this movie. It's not really in a horror kind of, it's not in a horror like themed way. The way they deliver, like shoot and just edit the killings and stuff, it's not really in a horror way. It's more of a drama, more of a thriller or a drama kind of way. So I guess I didn't really feel like it was a horror film because of that, even though you could basically break down Scream as a human being killing another human being, and this is just two human beings killing other human beings. So, like, you know, if you broke it down like that, it's kind of like, yeah, this is a horror film as well. But I guess it's the way you deliver the kills is what is important. But basically the ending is where it turns into a horror film. The ending is so out of nowhere and so... I was just like, what the hell is going on? I really can't talk about the ending. You know, without giving... I'm trying not to give spoilers. The ending is just really weird. It comes out of nowhere. Well, I wouldn't say out of nowhere. I mean, they hint at what's gonna pop up at the end of the movie. Like something appears at the end of the movie. Let's say that. Something appears at the end of the movie, and they do hint. They hint at this throughout the movie, like from start to the end. They're constantly hinting every now and again, like pretty subtly hinting at this, at something which will appear at the end of the movie. I kind of guessed this, so I kind of had it in my head what was gonna appear at the end of the movie, like what was gonna be involved at the end. So I kind of had that in my head, so I did kind of guess it, but like even though I kind of had that in my mind, and I was kind of like, okay, this movie is gonna somehow at some point involve this thing, and then. Even though I was kind of expecting it, when it finally did happen and appear at the end, I was still kind of like, what the hell? Even though I knew, I kind of had an idea of what was going to happen at the end, even when it did happen, I was kind of like, what the hell is going on? Like, even then, it was still confusing, even though I knew what was going to happen. Okay, so, yeah, so the horror element doesn't come into play until the very end of the movie, and it's, even when it does appear, it's just it's really weird. It's a really weird moment. Like the movie's really, it just changes its tone all of a sudden, and it's very, very sudden, really sudden, and it's just kind of shocking at how like all of a sudden it just changes to a horror film. And I will say it's actually pretty creepy as well. When the thing that appears does appear, it is actually pretty creepy. Like there's a scene which takes place in the tunnels. And you're just thinking like it would be a really scary situation to be in, and it is pretty creepy. That's a kind of a spoiler. I'll get into that later. So I will say about the movie. The ending is pretty creepy when the thing that appears does appear, and they have a great scene that takes place in the tunnels, and it's a really effective scene, and it is pretty creepy. Like it is like you stop and think about it. You're just like that is a really scary situation to be in. So I will give them props for like. The ending was great, you know, the way it suddenly changed into a horror film and how creepy it actually was towards the end. I just think that was done really, really well. One thing I didn't like about the movie is how it's one of those movies, it doesn't explain everything. Like, like a really important like moment occurs in the story, but then the movie just ends when this really important thing happens. So the thing happens and you're just like, oh, okay, what's gonna happen next? What's gonna happen next? And bang, end credits, and you're just like, you know, that's it. It's just how it ends really suddenly. Like, it's not even like on a thing which is worthy of a sequel. The way it ends, it's not even worthy of a sequel. So you know they didn't leave it on a cliffhanger for a sequel to explain the rest. The way it ends, you know it's not going to get a sequel. But the way it ends, it still has like a tiny bit of story left to give us, but they just end it. And you're just, so they don't explain nothing. They don't explain nothing, and you're just left to like decide what the hell just happened for yourself. And of course I went online, I read a few theories, and I was like, okay, I'll buy those theories. Like they kind of hint at what's, they like throughout the movie they kind of have hints, and if you piece together these hints, you will figure out what the hell just happened. I'm not really a fan of that, to be honest. I mean, Triangle is a movie which kind of didn't really explain stuff. It kind of left you, the audience, to you know, you, the audience, were left to decide what happened. Like in Triangle, like, you know, you got the loops. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. But Triangle, it was obvious enough to like leave it to us, the audience, to understand, to figure out ourselves what's happening. And it's a very obvious hint about the Greek mythology thing where he's rolling the stone up to the top of the hill. Those of you who haven't seen Triangle are wondering what the hell I'm talking about. But Triangle basically it doesn't flat out explain what happened. It leaves it to you to just, you know, decide for yourself what happened. But they give you a really strong hint, so you yourself really, you know, you figure it out pretty easily. Like, you don't even have to go online. Like, you figure it out yourself pretty easily. This movie, I think, I don't know, it's a bit too subtle. One thing I will say, which is good about the movie, it has replay value, because once you watch the movie, you could like watch it again, and then you pick up on all of the hints throughout the movie, which relate to the ending of the movie. Personally, I'm not really a fan of the whole let the audience figure out for themselves thing, unless they give you enough hints. Like, I don't know, I just didn't really care about the movie enough to watch it again. Like, I watched it once, I haven't watched it again. I don't intend on watching it again. I just, like, I didn't care about the movie enough to watch it again. So yeah. Oh yeah, and one last thing before I get into spoilers. The Hunchback segment. The movie end, like, you know how Quentin Tarantino did in Inglourious Bastards? Like, I can't remember what it says, but he has stuff like Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 3. And each chapter has like subtitles. Like, I can't remember the subtitles. There's stuff like Chapter 1, The Jew Hunter. Chapter 2, The Bastards. Chapter 3, The Plan. You know, they come up with stuff like that. He does that sort of stuff in it. This movie does that. You know, it just cuts to a black background with white text. It says stuff like The Priest. Then after that segment, it goes the Liberian, then the MP. And then at the very end, the last segment is the Hunchback. I just thought that was really predictable. I don't know. I'm just saying. You could tell what the deal was with the Hunchback. I mean, you could tell what was happening there with the Hunchback. And it was no surprise when they tried to do that big shock with the Hunchback. I mean, that's really obvious. A lot of people try to complain that the ending was a rip-off of a Serbian film. I'm just like, no. Just because this happened doesn't mean it's a rip-off of a Serbian film. I'll get into more details in a minute in the spoiler section. But basically, I don't think it's a Serbian. I don't think the ending is anything like a Serbian film. I don't think it's fair to say it's a rip-off of a Serbian film, the ending is. Just because a certain thing happened. I'll get into that in a minute. Okay, so that's basically everything I have to say in the spoiler-free section of it. So I wanted to like it. I wanted to love it. The story is something which I would be interested in. It's the sort of thing I should enjoy. Like, it's the sort of story I would like to watch. But I just didn't like it as much as I wanted to, or I thought I would have. And yeah, and the first part of the movie had some bad sound mix. Either that, or I just suck at understanding the London accent or something. I just had trouble understanding what they were saying at the start of the movie. But that's basically it. Didn't like it as much as I wanted to. But if the idea of two hitmen going around killing people sounds good to you, it sounds good to me, but I didn't like it. But it wasn't as entertaining as I wanted it to be. But if that sort of story sounds interesting to you, you know, give it a watch. It's worth watching. I don't know if it's the way they directed it or edited it, I don't know, I just didn't really find it too entertaining. The ending is very weird. Like, the movie's worth watching just to see the sudden change of mood in the ending. Like, it was a big what the hell's going on moment for me, even though I was kind of expecting it. Okay, so I slightly liked it, I'll say that. Let's say I felt neutral about the movie. Like, dead on in the middle. I didn't like it, I didn't hate it. I didn't dislike it, I didn't like it. Let's say I was dead on in the middle. Like, say there was a scale, and I was right in the middle, neutral. Move it slightly over to liking it, very slightly over to liking it, there you go. So, I don't think it's average, I slightly like it. That's it. Mainly because of the ending, and the ending's pretty creepy. It's great. Okay, well, the ending is. In terms of how creepy it is. Like, I didn't really love the ending, but yeah. Okay, so that's the spoiler-free section of the review. Leave now if you don't want spoilers. Okay, so here's the spoilers. Click out the video now if you don't want them. Okay, so the thing which pops up at the end is a cult. So I'm not sure if it's because I watched Paranormal Activity 3. I rewatched Paranormal Activity 3 right before this. I'm not sure if it's because I rewatched that, which is why I figured out there would be a cult involved in this movie. But yeah, I figured out a cult was involved in this movie, and you know, the cult appears at the very end, and I was just like, you know, even though I was expecting them to appear, I was really confused, and like, I was just like, what the hell, when they did appear, even though I was expecting them to appear. Like I said, I'm not sure if it's because I watched Paranormal Activity 3 right before watching this. That might be why I kind of expected the cult to be at the end. I don't know, but they do have some pretty strong hints at a cult, like when she carves the symbol into the picture with a knife, and also the main menu and the DVD cover. It's of the woods. It's of a forest of the woods. I think there's like fire, and there's like a symbol on it. So that kind of reminded me of the Blair Witch Project. That symbol. Well, there wasn't a cult in the Blair Witch Project, so that doesn't really make sense for me to say that hinted at a cult either. But yeah, I did kind of expect a cult at the end, so, and I turned out to be right when I guessed that. And that woman was so obviously part of the cult. Well, she did carve a symbol into the picture, so it's pretty obvious since then. But I figured it out when she said, like, in the first scene, this is one piece of dialogue I actually understood. They're asking like stuff like, what's your job, what do you do? And she mentioned something like, I'm into human resources. She says something like that. And I just thought the way she said it, and I just thought the way she said it kind of sounded really suspicious. So I was kind of like, she's the bad guy, and you know, she's part of the cult in the end. So that I turned out to be right there. Okay, so what's the other thing I wanted to talk about? So there's the cult angle. Oh yeah, and on bloodydisgusting.com, there's a picture of a guy. He's wearing like a tribal mask, like one of the masks at the end of the cult. But when I saw the fact they mentioned Kill List was the #1 movie of 2011, #1 horror movie. The picture they used to represent the movie was of a guy, of a cult member. So, you know, obviously if you look at that picture from the perspective of not having seen the movie before, not being aware of the fact that this is a cult member and the movie involves a cult, when I saw the picture, I just saw, so see from my perspective without seeing the movie, I saw the picture of a guy wearing the wooden mask, and he was wielding a torch on fire. So I was kind of like, so I was thinking, okay, so maybe this movie is about, maybe he's just a serial killer. He kills people with that mask, and he has that as his weapon. I was just thinking maybe that's the movie. He goes around killing people, this guy. Of course, he turns out to be a cult member. But like, I was just waiting for him to turn up for the whole entire movie. I was like, when the hell is this guy going to turn up then? After I saw that image. And of course, he turns out to be one of the cult members. And also, the cult members wear masks, and I like the masks. The masks look cool. I like that. Okay. I'm coming to the end here. Yeah, so like the comparison to a Serbian film. Just the fact that the guy kills his wife and his son. And the guy kills his wife and son in this movie. Like in both films, well, he doesn't kill his wife in this movie, he just kills his son. But his wife, you know, if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. Like the boy is like, the mother is giving her boy a piggyback. Like he's like hanging onto her back like that. And the husband stabs his son unknowingly he stabs his son and kills him. So like in a Serbian film, he kills his wife and his son, and also he rapes his son like unknowingly again in a Serbian film. So I guess the fact that they're doing something to the son, a really horrible thing to their son, their children, unknowingly, I guess is why they're saying it's a rip-off of a Serbian film, the ending. I don't know. Just because you've done something bad to your son unknowingly, I don't think that makes it... Just because that happens is like the ending is a rip-off of a Serbian film just because of that. I don't think so. I'm not saying that's a common event in movies, but I'm pretty sure a Serbian film isn't the only film in existence that have a father do something horrible to their son unknowingly. I'm pretty sure a Serbian film isn't the only film to do something like that. I mean the first film to do something like that. But yeah, that's what I thought of Kill List. So that's the spoiler section of the review done. So yeah. I can't be bothered to reiterate what I just said about the movie. I already gave you my thoughts, like I summed up my thoughts earlier. So go back to that point of the video if you want to hear what I overall think about the movie. But yeah, that's all I have to say. I guess I might do a review of Drive now. I really like that movie. Might do a review of that in a minute. But yeah, that's what I thought about Kill List. Thanks for watching and see ya.